Hello, welcome to your final training video for VITA. I thought I would create this video to help walk you through the last two returns that you will need to be preparing on your own or with a teammate. And I wanted to show you the screen that I see in 2013. I am using 2013 training software, but it is very similar in the 2014. The only difference should be your numbers may be off by a couple of $100 because of changes in exemptions and dependents in the amount that the government gives you as reductions to your income. But this should be enough to get you started. So today, the first video that or the first tax return that we're going to look at are what are some of the issues that Kelly Floyd was facing. Well, the first is the earned income tax credit. Kelly does qualify for some of the earned income tax credit, and to find out if she did or not, one of the things that I did is I went to my 4012, your best friend. You learn to use it, know where those tabs are, and I went ahead and I turned to tab I, earned income credit, and it can take you through the steps to determine who may qualify. And one of the things we'll find out if we look on page 2, that you can have qualifying children who could qualify, but you can also have people who are not a qualifying child. So we had a question of her three members of her family who lived in her household who qualified. And we determined that all three, that her brother Brian could also qualify for the earned income tax credit. Why? Because of his disability. Yes, he's not a dependent. He provides over half his support, but he can be used for the earned income credit because he lives with her and he will not be claiming her. We also know that she can get some child care expenses, the two girls. And so what forms is Kelly using and what kind of a refund? So let's go ahead and take a look at Kelly really quickly so that I can show you a couple of the points. And so here we've got, you can see Kelly, 42,100. Again, this is using 2013. Your refund may be off just a bit. So what a couple points I want to bring up on the main info sheet, that we can go ahead with our clients and click EIC on every client, because most of our clients, the reasons they're coming is they qualify for the EIC. CTC is going to go ahead and automatically populate, and the daycare or code, you will have to enter that if you see that there are daycare expenses. You're going to want to click that. Let's take a look at Brian. We entered Brian under the dependents. He lives with her, but we claimed him as a non-dependent, 0, but we put him as a possibility of the EIC. So that's one of the main differences on the main info page. Another thing that I want to inform you of is the taxpayer's PIN. We can ask the taxpayer what PIN they want to include, but we also could just assign a very easy number to them, such as their zip code, and so that they could remember this is their e-filing ID. We're not going to worry about red lines for EFINs or ERL firms. This will come in at the tax site. So if you have red lines, don't worry, they are still properly prepared. So let's go to the 1040 and just take a look at what we've got here. So we've got Mia and Logan. Okay, I guess it's a girl and a boy. And they are qualifying for CTC, and it's populated. But the other issue that we want to look at is those EIC worksheets. So because we had populated that all three, Brian, Logan, and Mia, qualify for the EIC, it's going to ask us questions. And we want to make sure that we go through carefully and answer every question. If you have trouble, go to your 4012, go through the step-by-step guide on tab I, the EIC, and it should help you to answer those questions. And when they are answered correctly, this should turn green. So what else were we looking at? We were looking at some of those child care questions. Now, I had a problem last night with students who we could not figure out why the child care credits were not finishing up. We were on this screen, Stone's Child Care, and it was staying red here. I am still not sure as to why that was happening, but if I show you what it looks like from dependent care benefits, you will see that on page 2 it automatically populates and gives you all of the information. You don't have to do anything except if you cannot get from your clients any obtainable IDs, you need to, on who provided them childcare, you're going to have to write an explanation, and hopefully we can get it to go through the IRS. You'll have to get as much information on that person as you can, the one who provided the care, so that the IRS can turn to them and ask them why they're not providing their IDs and why they may or may not be claiming it on their tax return. So if we go back to page 1 of the 2441, let's take a look. We're going to enter once that it was all at one child care center. We will enter this section once. However, in this section, we're going to go ahead. We're going to enter anybody who qualified for the child care and distribute it correctly, and it will automatically populate, and it should, this number should follow through this number. If you are not getting this, if this is a red line, you're just going to have to continue to work through and search. I can't come up with individual scenarios, but if you see these numbers, this is what it should look like. So a couple other points. Again, I can't emphasize enough, don't worry about it. Your EFIN, this will be provided by our partners. You do not need to come up with this. Under prep use, you will use this every night. You'll notice that when you are on site, the partners have now populated these with questions. You are required to answer them. You are required to write that you are the person who prepared the return and you provided quality review. So if you're on site, there will be questions. That's why it will be read. So I think these are some of the major issues with Kelly Floyd. Let's go ahead and go on to the Blackburns. I'm going to close, and I'm going to pull up Elliott Blackburn. So Elliott Blackburn and the Blackburns have some of the toughest tax issues. So I want to show you some of the forms you should be expecting to see. You are going to fill out the main info sheet. You should be getting a Schedule B, the interest statement you're going to have to deal with from ABC Investments. Let's go ahead and look. You had some interest from ABC Investments. You've got this NAEOB amount. You need to go ahead and find out where did that come from? Where does that name come from? And I want you to find that in your 4012. Look it up. What does that mean? It's in there. Dividend income, ABC Investments. They had some ordinary dividends qualified. Go ahead, look under income, look under investments in your 4012, see if you can find out how to fill out the sheet. Another thing that we face, and this is probably one of the toughest things with the Blackburns, is Elliott Blackburn retired and he got a 1099-R. Let's go ahead and look at that 1099-R. And in his 1099-R, it went and said that he down and find where I entered that. It's going to show up under pensions and annuities, 1099-R. Let's go ahead and try to find it. And there we go. There's the 1099-R that I created. And the problem was is in his it said we don't know what the taxable amount was. So we have to do some calculations. This is one of the hardest things you will face in this course. I don't know that you'll ever see it. But in the early days, especially for teachers, we do have some teachers come in. When they would take out a 401k or contribute to their retirement plans, they were paying taxes on this until some tax laws changes. So they have already paid taxes on some of their retirement funds. So in the information that is given to you about Elliott, under the explanations, under interview notes, it talks about him receiving retirement income in November 2010. No distributions were received prior to his retirement. Elliott and Kathy selected a joint survivor annuity for these payments. Elliott has recovered $1,320 tax-free through 2013. What that means is Elliott has gotten back income of $1,320 that he did not have to pay taxes. How can we then take that number and allocate it to this year's 1099? Well, in your 1040, in your 4012, they're going to go ahead and help you once again. Under the Income tab, there is a page, and I'm going to be looking for it, that will help to explain how you calculate that number. And we're going to go ahead and use a simplified method to calculate the number. And by the way, you can go ahead and look. D9 might answer that NAEOB from the prior worksheet. But if we go ahead and we look through the entire Income tab, page through it, looking, by the time you get to D19, pension and annuities, you're going to start seeing some information to help you. You're going to go past D21, and then you're going to get to Form 1099-R, the Simplified Method Worksheet. And what it explains is that you can, in a very simple way, take the amount that they have already recaptured, divide that amount, the 1320, by how many months they have recaptured it in order to get a figure that you can then times 12 for this year, times that number, that monthly amount, by 12, 1320 divided by the number of months you calculated. That gives you a per month amount. Multiply that by 12, subtract it from your gross. That will give you the taxable amount. Then that should give you the correct number. So once again, you see, you've got to just kind of be hunting through that 4012, know where to find it. If you look for 5 minutes for something and you cannot find it, about that time you're going to be calling us over to help you. So we see that the alternative minimum tax is highlighted to see if Elliot's going to need any kind of alternative minimum tax. We are going to be dealing, if I go back to the 1040, we're going to be looking on the 1040 and seeing that Elliot had some foreign interest that is not going to be taxable. I want you to look and see where that is found in the 4012. So that's another one. You've got some other income, those gambling winnings. If we go ahead and just look out, I'm going to show you where I linked it. You want to link it. Other income worksheet, worksheet 7. You can find that there. So one of the things that I wanted to point out that you're going to have to just be using that 4012 a lot. I wanted to show you what your approximate refunds should look at like, excuse me, and make sure that you're on the right basis. So I just want to go ahead and mention another few quirks in the software. Again, check EIC for all family members with our clients. The software will then help you check out the EIC. I know the software times out, it can't be helped, but the data is saved in 2014. Log out at that point, go ahead, find your return, click, and keep going. It's a safety measure for the clients that their return is not being left open and somebody getting into their data. I will be bringing accurate returns to class in 2013 software. We will go over these in class. Then we will be working on Enrique Clayton. Another tip is to use all capital letters when preparing returns. If a field will not turn green, it stays red. Go to the main info page and check your steps. Go step by step to see where you may have gone wrong. So good luck. We're going to be seeing you next week. Your graduate assistants will be sending you out an agenda. We will be helping you take your tests. We will be printing out your final certificates. Then we will be doing some mock interviews to help you to interview your clients on these key issues. Have a great weekend. I hope you remain in the course. As you can tell, I'm here. Your graduate assistants are here to help you every step of the way. Thank you.